What is going on, everyone? I am still at home. I don't know if you heard that first part because it looked like I was muted, but what is going on? We got a lot to discuss today. It's not necessarily the heaviest news day, but we do have some targets we're looking at on the charts. Bitcoin could be making its way back up with its next big breakout move, going back above $70,000. We're going to take a look at that. Take a look at some altcoins that you guys love as well. Don't go anywhere. This is the Investing Bros. Let's roll that intro.
Yo, 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 what's up?
Whoa. What is going on? T Shroom, how are you doing today?
Oh, man, better than I deserve, Tim. Definitely
Good.
better than I deserve.
Good.
We had a good 9 a.m. stream this morning. A lot of bros stopping in. And I've actually got a quote here for us today.
Okay.
That quote is as follows. Healing is a beautiful ray of light that you simply need to reach your hand toward. Tim, how do you feel about that quote of the day?
Yeah. You know, healing is a complicated word. There's a lot of different things that are healing. There's lots of different things people need healing from. I needed healing from this freaking strep throat. And I'll tell you guys right now, my energy today is the best it has been since this whole shabacle this week. I still have a scratchy throat, so you guys are gonna see me probably with a lozenge in the side of my mouth this whole time. So I'm ready for it in case I ever feel scratchy. I got some lozenges, as always. You know, the most hydrated. My wife's shaker bottle, Burn Boot Camp, free sponsorship to them.
Nice.
Staying hydrated though, trying to keep this this throat of mine. Limber is the wrong term, but I'm gonna go with it. I got a lot. I don't know if you know this T-shirt. Like, my night tonight, I'm going to be speaking and making up for the last couple of days of not speaking. We have this stream. Yeah. Then right after it, we're going to be jumping into a Zoom call with our VIP traders. We're going to do our VIP trading specialized group. We will record it for all the VIP traders who can't make it. So that's the cool thing about Zoom. Then after that, we have a meeting. You, me, and Crux have a meeting for content planning. Then after that meeting, we have a meeting with Ernest of another sponsor potential opportunity.
Yep.
And then I have another meeting with another sponsor tonight. So I'm literally going to be talking pretty much nonstop between now and like 8:30 p.m. So these lozenges and the hydration are very, very key. But you know what else is key, T-Shroom? This stream is brought to you guys not by Burn Boot Camp, but actually it's brought to you guys by Arculus cold wallets. If you guys are preparing yourself and you're gearing up and you're ready for an explosive bull market, you got to remember the phrase, not your keys, not your crypto. Not that I'm necessarily too worried that major exchanges will go down, but you never can be too careful. And honestly, I've seen weird things happen when it comes to centralized exchanges. I absolutely recommend all of you guys go purchase a cold wallet today. And if you're wondering which one the best one is, that's Arculus. That's why we paired with them. They're the fastest to set up. They're the only cold wallet out there that we know of with no backdoor deal where maybe the government or another entity could come in and actually confiscate your crypto. It is the epitome of the safe haven for your crypto. And when you use our link down below, that is BROZ10. You get 10% off. Normally it's about $100 or so. You can get one right now for $90 with our link, BROZ10. Go check it out today. And also, thank you so much for Arculus for being one of the sponsors of this channel, keeping the lights on. Again, I'm here at home, and T-Shirt and I were talking about this right beforehand. There's a chance I might try to do a lot more stuff from home. I aside from being sick, I really have liked being at home with Taylor and Brody this week. So I'm going to try to revamp my home office and maybe do some more stuff here. And we can pump up more stuff. Maybe from time to time I can join the 9 a.m. stream. That would be a lot of fun. But it's because of sponsors like Arculus that we can do that type of stuff. Show them some love and show the bros some love. Go get a wallet today. Protect your crypto. T-Shroom.
Yeesh.
We got our quote of the day. We've got all of everything else. Make sure everybody, I'm kind of going through my checklist here. For all of our subscribers already, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button. The rest of you guys can wait. We've got a lot to discuss today, but ultimately you guys are going to love the show. If you care about crypto, you care about price action, we've been kind of crushing it. Not to toot our horns too much, T-Shroom, but we have been kind of crushing the calls with price action here recently, and we're gonna try to continue to do that for you guys.
Nice.
Let's check out some of the prices, starting with crypto bubbles here, T-Shroom. Safe looks like our biggest gainer to the upside. I see a lot of people talking in chat about ChainLink. We will definitely talk about ChainLink. It's one of the favorite coins here on the channel. Definitely one of my favorite. I saw someone in chat say it's up 10%. Maybe it dropped and it's come back down a little bit, but maybe it dropped and then rallied 10%, but it says 5.7. But Safe looks like our big gainer. FTM looks like another big gainer. Core, Say is also up 5.4%. What is this? Is this Flares, FLR? Yep. Flares up 7%. Let's see if there are any other big gainers. That looks like it for gainers. You do have some decent sized losers, though. One of them, again, another channel favorite, Stacks. Again, I think this coin has big potential. Bitcoin layer 2, but it's down 6%. Algo's down 6%. Render, another channel favorite, down 5.5%. Now, some of that might be because Render had a nice rally earlier this week. But Athena is also down 6.3%. So you do have a mixed bag. I think everything's more green than red, but clearly on this bubble chart, you got a nice distribution of green and red going on. Let's take a look at the big top 10. Let's refresh this just to make sure I get the most recent data. Bitcoin dropped temporarily below 65,000. We'll get into that on the charts. Now it's back above, but it is at the moment still in the red on the day. So in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is still down 0.05%. So nothing really to freak out about. Pretty much exactly where we had it yesterday during the live show, on its way back up. Is that dip over? We'll have to look at the charts for that one. But we're going to be looking at some more bullish perspective over the next couple of weeks. So be excited about that one. Ethereum down 1.33%. Another big reason why we're going to see the Bitcoin dominance chart continue to rise to the upside today. BNB down 2.6. Solana, one of the big movers of the top 10, I think it's actually the biggest mover of the top 10, up 4.3%. Cardano's coming in number 2 right there, up 1.8, but nothing close to Solana, back up at about 160. I'm in a short trade with our VIP trading group that actually is doing well. I just gave an update on that right before going live on the show, though. So all of our VIP traders, go check out Discord. I did give an update on that trade. We entered closer to about $162, but it looks like we're doing some cool stuff there. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts and take a look at what we have going on. We'll take a look at Solana maybe a little bit later. You guys will actually get to see some of the trade. I'm going to give more insights to our VIP trading group, but I'll let you guys look at the chart that we're watching over there. Bitcoin here on the 1 hour chart did came back down below 65K, like I said, but take a look at where it found some support. We're down on the 1 hour chart. This is all the way down here. We came to the smart trail concept. I got very close to the take profit on the 1 hour. I'm not going to necessarily fret about that too much that we did not hit it. The truth is we probably are going to come back down and retest it a little bit more. So don't necessarily lose that one. But for now, that smart trail concept continue to hold up as some good support for Bitcoin. Let's kind of move our way up to the upside. One of the things that I'm watching on Bitcoin is the smart trail on the 4 hour and this breaker block right around 60, right below 64, maybe could get as low as 63,400 is going to be in play here. This is a former order block that got the price action just blasted through, and now it looks like a nice level of strong support. If Bitcoin can stay above that, that's a very strong bullish tail for Bitcoin doing what I'm about to tell you it should be doing over the next couple of weeks. But for now, keep an eye on that breaker block. If it gets lost, then we definitely still have a chance at maybe going back down towards 61,000. But if we can hold that as support, that just spells a lot of bullishness for Bitcoin. We'll talk more about the bullishness and bearishness of Bitcoin in the news section. But let's talk about some other things here. Before I move up to the daily chart and show you reasons why I'm extremely excited about Bitcoin's price action over the next couple of weeks, let's stay here on the 4 hour chart and take a look at that's something that I think is going to start off my more bullish perspective on Bitcoin at the moment. And that is this volume histogram right down here. Now, I've told you guys before, volume communicates a lot of things, but the most important things it'll communicate is levels of resistance and support, meaning massive reversal places. So a lot of times you'll see this. Let's look at some of our biggest tops and bottoms. You guys can see a lot of times we have these strong reversals and we see a peak in volume kind of at those peaks. You actually see it several times, both at tops and bottoms here. But the other thing that volume does is it confirms breakouts. And that's what I love seeing right here is not only yesterday, you guys, I think we were live when a lot of this was happening. Not only yesterday, or no, we weren't live. Would have been, what is this, 8 o'clock? I don't know. Yesterday morning to early afternoon, I guess. We had this big rally going on. But what I love seeing is not just that we had big white candles, big bullish candles, but I love the fact that the bulls kind of confirm this. This is a very bullish momentum. This is what you are looking for, especially with the fact that even though there's somewhat of higher volume coming in down here, that was a more relatively lower volume bottom, especially for how low we got compared to where price had been earlier. So you love seeing lower relative volume for a bottom position and then increase in volume as price moves to the upside. That is a good sign for anyone who wants to study more about volume. That is a good sign that does show strength to the upside. That's where we're going to start off. But now let's go up to the daily chart.
Yeah,
and
real
let's
quick,
check out.
Tim. Just real quick, we got Tom Crown in the chat. What's up, Tom?
I see Tom. Hey, what's up?
Good to see you in the chat. Hype. Resume.
Let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's go ahead and check out something that has just flashed here. And I mentioned it, I think, briefly yesterday, but I love seeing that it has confirmed. And we're going to start seeing these on some of the altcoins as well. So I'm going to address those too. But we yesterday, for the first time since February, and I'm going to explain why I discredit this flash right here, but for the first time since February, have gotten a good bullish flash. Right? This is very, very important. We have been under bearish calls here since all the way back in March. Again, we briefly flashed bullish, but I just didn't like the area Bitcoin's price was at. I didn't like that it flashed right as we came into a smart trail concept again. There's a lot of reasons to not like this one. I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I like that we got another flash right here. Is it over? Not necessarily. You can see it carried us into the smart show concept, and today we're slightly in the blue. But as long as the next couple of days do not bring us back down below, you guys can see right here back in April, for example, the very next day we saw a bearish engulfing candlestick where the body of the candle on the bearish day was bigger than the body of the candle on the bullish day, right? So that kind of killed all its credibility. As long as Bitcoin today does not close below 61,500, and I would say I'll give it 2 or 3 days. If the bears want to take back control, let's give them the weekend pretty much. If they can get the price back down below 61,500, then I will say that this is a false signal that we have going on right here. However, I do love that we have that signal coming into play. And again, I like this one as the best buying signal since the one we had way back here in February. And of course, the price of Bitcoin would just go on crazy upside swing here. Not predicting we're going to get a same move as that one. Again, let's just kind of look at that one just for story's sake. We end up having a nice 70% rally on Bitcoin price action after that symbol. I am not necessarily predicting that Bitcoin goes 70% to the upside with no big pullback whatsoever. But what I am saying is this one has a lot of credibility to it. You're also going to find when we pull up oscillators here, I don't like what stochastics is doing. So if you want to say, Tim, let's find something negative on here, that's going to be your biggest negative. When stochastics RSI are that high, that sometimes is a call for a potential pullback. What I love seeing on the RSI, for example, look at how many times we flirted with the 50 on the mid-level on RSI and kept getting rejected. We kind of broke through back here in April, but then we fell back down and then rejected cleanly here in May several different times. And now we have made a very clean break to the upside. This is something I've discussed with you guys a lot, is when you're looking at the RSI, it's not as simple as is the RSI overextended above 70 or is it overextended below 30? It also has to be with what is the relationship with the 50 line, the midline of being support or resistance. Well, we've just broken through that resistance level. That is a sign of strength on the RSI. We've been under a bullish call here on the MACD for a while. MACD massively overextended, and here over the last 2 days, picking up a lot of bullish momentum. So that's definitely going into the camp of the bulls. And lastly, we have here on Bitcoin, we had the bullish divergence here a week ago, give or take. I told you guys about that one. We're still seeing the bullish reversals. We're seeing some strong bullish momentum with, again, the oscillator itself being back above the 50. And what I see going on is right now, the money flow is still technically running down, technically going to the downside, but you can see it losing its momentum And that's why I told you guys, I still think you could see potentially a move back down. If I were to bring up our order box back to the 4-hour chart, remember I told you earlier, I still think there's a potential chance you could see Bitcoin possibly break back down below 64,000. But that doesn't crush this most recent bullish action. Again, daily chart, you really need to see a drop below 61.5 to remove the bullishness. If we pull back down to 64, 63.5, give or take, we still are sitting under a good spot to reverse this money flow, have our trifecta of reversal signal of bullish momentum and then that bullish money flow. And all of a sudden, boom, this take profit all the way up here is looking very, very good. What is that take profit level and what is the order block? We're looking up here at bare minimum 71,100. If you guys saw the title, if you saw the thumbnail and you're wondering why is Tim predicting 71,000, that is it right there. Of course, when you turn off Lux Algo, this is also a level that I talked about now for a while. I think, again, this is an I think thing, but it's based off of historical analysis. I believe that 71,000 is going to be treated as a significant level of resistance for the next couple of months. I told you guys I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin potentially ping pong somewhere in this yellow range all the way into August or September before finally breaking out and putting new all-time highs. I could be wrong about that. We could see all-time highs before that. But if we follow historical analysis based off of this cycle, I'm not talking about new all-time highs. I'm just talking about this bull cycle so far. Forget that we technically set a new all-time high. Ever since we set the low back here in November of 2022, this rally, this higher high, higher low, the peak of it before the halving event was 73,000. And historically, when I go back here, if I were to go to the weekly chart, let's do that just to give us more room to trend here. If you go back here, it is historically months before we break the rally high. You, of course, can go back here to June of 2019. That was the high of the rally. Of course, it happened a long time before the halving event. But after the halving event happened, we traded sideways, had some bullishness, but had to wait 5 months before finally breaking new highs for that rally. Same thing happened back here in 2016, the cycle that I think we look most like right now. We had to wait I think this was if we halving happened in July, we had to wait until December, so about 5 months for there as well. The shortest one, of course, was back in 2012, 2013, where we only waited 3 months to break it. But this point still stands that the halving events, as bullish as they are from a news perspective, are often met with sideways, boring price action, and it takes months before you see brand new highs to the rally, let alone highs for Bitcoin's price. The only reason why we're going to high for Bitcoin's price is because the highs for the rally were the Bitcoin price. I know that's kind of complicated, but hopefully most of you guys are sticking with me. That is my theory and my reasoning to think that Bitcoin easily could get back up here to 71, maybe even go a little bit above 71, but ultimately will more than likely stay within this golden box for the next couple of months. Let me know in the comments and in chat what you guys think. Some of you used to agree with me. Maybe you're seeing the bullishness here and you're saying, well, this is changing things, Tim. We'll have to wait and see how things play out, but I do caution people not to just sway your opinion with every single change in the breeze. Even going back to the last month and a half, the narrative shifting and switching back and forth between being uber bullish and uber bearish. There's been reasons why people thought Bitcoin was going to crash back down to 48,000. There's been reasons why people think Bitcoin's about to hit new all-time high. Ultimately, this does go back to price action and how whales trade and how experienced traders trade and about how markets move. And they will manipulate news articles at the right time and opportunity to confuse the retail investor as much as possible. Ultimately, you've got to stick to your own analysis, your own research and understanding, and ultimately, until history breaks, it is always best to look at how historically price action has moved. And until we see a change in trend, you got to stick with that trend. I'm not saying sell all of your Bitcoin at 71,000 and wait for a lower price action, but I am saying if you're expecting brand new all-time highs within the next couple days, next couple weeks, maybe even next month or two, I would not be surprised if you're disappointed. So just don't have that perspective where you put all of your emotion into that and then get discouraged, because that's what happens. I'm rambling here, but I hope this is important. If you are thinking that we're going to see a new all-time high, for example, in June, and then we don't hit it, the temptation to feel discouraged and to feel like Bitcoin is stifled and not going to have a good bull market starts to set in. And it could cause you to do some dumb things like take all of your profit in Bitcoin before the real explosion starts, maybe in August or September. I'm just telling you this to strap in, to prepare yourself for boring price action, because when you're expecting boring price action, you don't do anything stupid. It's when you're expecting the super bullishness and it doesn't come that you could be tempted to start to FUD out of your good investments, and you end up losing out on the chance of a lifetime. So that was a lot there going on here, but I do think, wrapping it all up, in case you're joining, I think Bitcoin got some volatility over the next couple of days, but next big move, watch out for 71,000. That is looking attractive to me. Let's check out some altcoins before we get into some news. T-Shroom, let's check out some altcoins.
Let's do it
And see what they're kind of saying here.
Nobody's suggesting Link in the chat. Everybody's very squared away on Link. They don't need any TA for Link.
we do need to look at. I saw chat saying that something really big on the news front hit for ChainLink. We'll have to look into that. But let's just take a look at the chart itself here for ChainLink. Again, kind of finding some nice support right here in a zone that I had drawn for a while now. Down here, again, lower end around $13. Yeah, we've had some wicks go below, but you can see here on the daily chart, technically we had one close at $12.99, but let's just call it 13. We really haven't had a daily candle close below 13. And you're going to see right here, actually, today's movement on Chainlink is breaking some resistance, some micro resistance right here. Could be a fake out. Let's watch and see how the day closes. But right now, if you go back to these big wicks we had on April 22nd and on May 6th, we broke that bearish trend right there. So I want to kind of see how that one plays out. On a more macro perspective, we aren't necessarily in the clear just yet. I'm probably not even using the right tool. Let's use this tool right here. Let's use the zone. Everyone likes to talk about the exact line, but if you were to do this, well, it almost is an exact line. We rejected on a perfect line pretty much of this zone of resistance going in. So that's going to be the big one for Chainlink. I think we do need to break through to feel secure about that one. Don't be surprised if we see some rejection if we start to move bullishly back around $17. Let's check out what Lux is saying, and then we'll take a look at the oscillators as well. So again, I think I told you this when we were doing Bitcoin. Bitcoin flashed a bullish signal yesterday. Chainlink just flashed one today. I think I saw Solana flashed one today. There's a couple other altcoins. So you do want to see how the day closes. Also, mathematically, this doesn't mean we can't have a big run up, but I want to make sure you guys understand. These signals are coming in from mathematical equations based off of strength of movement. So these aren't perfect. It's not like, oh, if a 1 happens, it's barely going to move, because clearly we had a 1 flashback here in January and had a big move for Chainlink. And then you have things like 2s that weren't good calls, or 3s that end up calling the top. There's been a lot of buy signals here recently on Lux Algo that did not really pan out to being anything consequential. What I like seeing, though, is as these flash, we get a lot of resistance broken through. So that is something that I'm watching that I do like. It's crazy here on the daily chart. We really got like no order blocks anywhere until back up here at $20. We have a very strong order block down here, a breaker block at $6. I don't think we need to worry about that one. Another one at $7. Don't need to worry about that one. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Let's see what 4-hour. Ooh, look at the volume coming in on Chainlink. Yeah, there must be some big news here, T-Shirt.
Yeah, I got it.
Big volume. Let me finish the chart here, and then we'll break in that news. 4-hour chart is hitting its take profit here, again, as we get into that level of resistance, but I like that we're setting these floors with these big breaker blocks. Those are going to be great levels of support if we break back to the downside. But again, what I'm kind of overwhelmingly seeing here, let's see what the oscillator says, but I like what Chainlink's chart looks like. This news must be very, very important. Neutral here on stochastics. Not going to read too much into that one. RSI, similar to Bitcoin, breaking above the 50. You love to see that. That's a sign of strength. MACD slowly but surely making its way back up. And then here, kind of similar to Bitcoin, it's just not as strong, but we've been moving bearishly. We've had the money flow coming out, but you can see today is really slowing down that curve. If we can get that moving back to the upside, that'll renew some confidence, because we're already in a more bullish trend when it comes to the oscillator. We've been under a technical bullish trend, very, very slight bullish trend of, well, it's kind of a sideways trend. So it'd be nice to see a rejection. It'd be nice to see one more move to the downside, and maybe if we saw something like this. If we saw the price of Chainlink maybe shoot a little higher and then come back down, retesting some of these levels of support, but then we see a reversal flash happen, that would give me a lot more confidence. Although you don't have to have a big move if the news is going to move Chainlink like crazy. But I like the resistance we're breaking through right now on Chainlink, and it looks like, again, based off that volume, a lot of strength coming in. Let's go to the news on that one and check out what's happening there.
Ready to go to the news on the Chainlink. Well, I want to give props where props are due. Eddie PT got it pretty good breaking here in our chat. Said, yes, Success Link completes test with JP Morgan, Templeton, BY Mellon, and other major banks for the accelerated tokenization of funds. Super bullish. Yeah. So this is kind of like, and we get a confirmation here from Ash Crypto. He's pretty good with the breaking news stuff. Chainlink have completed the test, exactly what I think you copied and pasted there, that Eddie PT. So much appreciated to you. You get an air horn. You got in there. He calls it giga bullish for Link. And then CoinDesk already has a story out for it. Headline, DTCC Chainlink completes pilot to accelerate fund tokenization with JP Morgan, Templeton, BNY Mellon participating. Someone else in the chat said they're not sure if this is baked in yet, and I agree. Oh, it was Eddie PT said it's not priced in yet. I think, guys, this is happening 50 minutes ago. So yeah, this is breaking news. What is it? The purpose of the project, called SmartNav, was to establish and standardize process to bring and disseminate net asset value (NAV) data to funds across virtually any private or public blockchain using Chainlink's interoperability protocol (CCIP). And then here are the banks listed. I mean, these are just a bunch of hard hitters, big hitters. Some you haven't heard of, some you have. JP Morgan, BNY Mellon, Edward Jones, Franklin Templeton. So very bullish. And this is essentially, a couple weeks ago we had kind of a questionable headline story with HBAR, with Hedera, and ArcX was this intermediary, but BlackRock had tapped Hedera, right? And then the chaos ensued, but that sent Hedera 100% to the upside. Guys, I would say this one's like, it's kind of the same headline times 2 or 3, right? Because none of these banks are, in my opinion, as big and as prestigious as BlackRock, but these are all very big banks. BNY Mellon is, I think, the oldest bank in the United States. And the rest of these are nothing to shake a stick at. You got an Invesco on there. I didn't even see that. State Street, U.S. Bank. I mean, these are some of the biggest banks in the world, if not the U.S. So, it's hard to overstate how bullish this is, especially because they've kept this under wraps for the most part. Of course, we knew that Chainlink is in with Wall Street trying to make some things happen with tokenization for sure. That's not news to anybody. But the fact that they were holding a specific project called SmartNav and that has gone successful is very, very interesting. So, upside for Chainlink, I would imagine, is going to be much higher by the end of the stream. Would be my guess.
Yeah. Listen, when we say it's surprising, it's surprising maybe in terms of timing. We have been watching and talking about Chainlink for a while. Username says Tim and Sherman. The only way to end this link talk, you guys know what to say. I'll say it maybe here in a little bit. I've been kind of singing the praises of Chainlink now for a while. And it's because while we didn't officially have these types of relationships happening yet when I started singing the praises, it was inevitable. Chainlink, if people don't fully grasp what Chainlink and CCIP are going to do for not just the blockchain world, but the world in general, you're missing out. You're missing out. Like when we talk about altcoins, we've had this conversation before. Choose an altcoin or choose crypto that you're confident will still be strong and very, very wealthy in the next 15 to 30 years. The only one you can say with security, relative security, is Bitcoin, right? Even when you look at Ethereum and you look at Solana and Cardano, these are all things that have in their own rights, they're kind of blazing the trail and being the best at what they do. But cryptocurrency is still so young and so new. A new kid on the block who just does things better. Like each one of those, Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, they have their flaws that another coin could theoretically come in and expose and maybe take some of the attention because the whole space is still young.
Yeah, like ICP.
I still think that those three that I just mentioned are going to do well, but I don't have a lot of security. I said all that to say Bitcoin I am secure about. And if you told me, Tim, choose a second place, one that you feel strongly you can kind of trust will still be here in the next 15 to 20 years, Chainlink has got to be it. And there's this relationship. Just wait until the news starts coming out about what their relationship really will look like with Swift, for example. Chainlink is going to be very, very special moving forward. And so anyone who could have bought Chainlink when the price was below $9, good for you. I'm almost sitting here and saying, at the end of this bull market, we're talking about what we should be taking profits on and what we shouldn't be taking profits on. Chainlink is one of those coins that I'm debating, not maybe 50-50, but putting a decent amount of my portfolio at the end of this bull market split between Bitcoin and Chainlink, maybe 75-25. I'm not talking about anything major like 50-50, but Chainlink is another one that I think, based off of what its role is going to do for society and for the world in general, this could be one that holds its value very, very well and does not have a severe bear market and then just continues to go up, up, and up. I've gone on record by saying I think that Chainlink has the chance to surpass Solana and Binance Coin. I think BNB is going to slip here in the bull market, but I think it's going to become the number 3 altcoin by the end of this bull market. And then you start talking about the next bull market after that and the bull market after that. We're talking about the next 4 to 8 years. Everyone talks about Solana or Cardano being the Ethereum killer or the flippening of Ethereum for that number 2 spot. More people need to be talking about Chainlink becoming the second largest cryptocurrency, because that's really where I think the future looks. Unless Ethereum just comes out with a bombshell and just crushes it, which they're definitely capable of doing. I think that Chainlink potentially could be the second safest investment. And what makes this crazy is I'm saying it's a safe investment. Go back to my screen here, T-Shroom. If we were to make it, I've done this video before. You guys can go check it on our channel. If we were to make it to the number 3 altcoin, like I think we could, the reasonable price prediction. Oh, I don't have it on this one. Oh, I must have not.
Come on, Tim.
Rookie me. All right. I think maybe it's because I'm remaking the video. 500 and you guys, I'll remake my price prediction about this because you guys need to see update. We're realistically talking about, if it makes top 5, let alone top 3, we're looking at a price for Chainlink between $500 to $700. Some of you are gonna call me crazy, but I'm giving you guys a massive price prediction. If you buy today, right here at about $15, give or take, we're looking at least a 34x, maybe potentially closer to a 47x. And I'm talking about this as a coin that could be one of the safest stores of your value over the next couple of years. We don't give financial advice, T-Shirt, right? We don't give financial advice, right?
We do not. We give financial science sometimes.
We do financial science. So you do whatever you want to do with your money. But as for me and my household, the Warren household, we hold Link. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Uh-oh.
Bruh.
Oh, we're having too much fun today, Tim. I love it. Will Crux is jumping in here. He's got some interesting takes. He said if I had to hold 5 cryptos for 10 years, he said it'd be Bitcoin, ETH, Caspa, Link, and ADA. Let me know what on that list do you disagree with? What do you agree with? I love it. Look, not you, Tim. The chat.
Oh yeah, I refuse to talk about it.
But I do have a question, because you mentioned BNB not doing very well. Why would you say BNB not doing too well in the bear market?
Well, I just excuse me. Sorry, I drank some water and had a cough. I don't think BNB is gonna fall off a cliff or anything. I just let's go look at what I'm looking at when I say it's gonna slip. I think that we could see BNB, if you go to my screen here on CoinMarketCap, for example, we're going to be tracking the market caps here. That's what gives them their ranking. BNB currently number 4, but number 3 if you don't count stable coins. I think we see it slip. I think Solana jumps BNB. I think there's potentially a couple other coins. I think BNB stays in the top 10, but BNB's kind of hovered there between number 3 and 4. For a long time. I just think that the way everything's going to go, there will be a little bit of slippage. CZ no longer being in charge of Binance. I don't think Binance is going to crumble by any means, but I don't think it'll be the same powerhouse that it was maybe in the last bull market. I think a lot of altcoins will surpass it in terms of market cap. Doesn't mean it's not a good investment. I think the BNB easily will make above $1,000 per token. But I just think that you're going to see gains from some of these others, like Solana, like Chainlink. Maybe it stays above like Cardano's. I'm really going back with Avalanche, especially that it's a real world asset token. I'm really going back and forth between thinking that Avalanche might be a contender for like a top, maybe not top 5 because there's only so many spots up there, but maybe it comes in right there on the number 6 or 7. That's not what this whole episode was about, but
I'm very bullish and very allocated on both ChainLink and AVAX and Ethereum. Right, Ethereum is my second largest holding. I think being underweight on Ethereum is going to punish folks. We talked about that yesterday in Bro Time. And for those of you,
my only with Ethereum, and this is where it comes back to, I want to make a decent amount of money in this bull market. I have my safe place, so I do have Bitcoin and Ethereum in my portfolio. But again, we're talking about for every $1,000 you have in Bitcoin or Ethereum, best case scenario, Ethereum is going to do like a 6x, 7x. And we just looked at that. Like ChainLink, even if it doesn't get anywhere close to what I just said, let's just say ChainLink makes it into the top 10 alone. We're still looking at like a 20x, right? So you're just going to make so much more money with a project like ChainLink or AVAX or ICP, because even though they're not going to touch the end goal, they're not going to touch Ethereum's market cap with a 10-foot pole. Ethereum's market cap is just already so far and above. Like right now, Ethereum is sitting at a $354 billion market cap. Whoever becomes number 3, 4, and maybe 5 might surpass that number when it's all said and done. Of course, Ethereum's probably going to be at like a $1.5 trillion market cap. But we're talking about right now, most of these altcoins aren't even going to get to where Ethereum is at this moment by the end of the bull market. But that being said, when you have that high market cap like Ethereum does, like Bitcoin does, it does really make it a lot harder to do a 2x than a 3x than a 4x. Whereas you start to come down here, and we're predicting ChainLink to be a top 3, top 4 coin, and it's number 17 with only an $8.8 billion market cap. And we're saying that coin could get up here to $400, $500 billion, up to the levels above or right at where Ethereum is. That's why it's so bullish, because the current market cap is so stinking low based off of what its potential really says it could be.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, Joshua 24:15 says, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." But in
and by ChainLink, that was the part that Joshua left out.
Yeah. So you got to love it. Tim said it, not me, God. Just so you're tracking.
That is dangerous territory. My bad.
We're having fun.
Joshua never said that.
Joshua the prophet. The prophet. All right. Well, it's not just crypto that's having fun today. The Dow Jones hits an all-time high. Dow Jones is a little change after briefly topping 40,000 for the first time ever in the world. So very, very exciting. A lot of people don't care. A lot of eyes rolling, but this is pretty big because the Dow Jones is seen as the more conservative of the indexes, and it just kind of goes to show that risk assets are pushing higher, and so is gold, right? So it's kind of anything you can buy is pushing higher, including real estate. Real estate prices kind of keeping playing a part in keeping inflation high as well. That shelter component of CPI and PPI. So very important. Well, let's get into some more stories here, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah. So the stories today are brought to you all by iTrust Capital. It's who we trust for our crypto advantaged tax accounts. And you can get a free $100 when you click the link in the description today. Let's get into, we talked about ChainLink. Let's get into this clip here from Cynthia Loomis, senator. Let's take a look, Tim. Let's take a listen.
Chairman Gensler would rather politicize accounting standards to achieve policy goals in the banking industry, an industry I'd like to remind him he does not regulate, rather than conduct a transparent policy-making process. Maybe it's because Chairman Gensler knows that putting customer assets on the balance sheet is bad policy that would garner enough support to finalize a rule, or rather would not garner enough support to finalize a rule. Maybe it's because he's committed to an ill-informed and unworkable fight against the digital asset industry at any cost. Unfortunately, SAB 121 does nothing to protect consumers. Nothing to protect consumers. It hurts them. I hope that all of my colleagues will recognize this and join me in voting in support of House Joint Resolution 109.
Well, there you go. Michael Saylor has a great breakdown of this. Said Wall Street wants Bitcoin, the House of Reps wants Bitcoin, and now the Senate wants Bitcoin. Cynthia Loomis saying it very well. And look at this. This was almost a supermajority that would have put a veto out of the possibility, would have taken a veto off the table, but it was just short of that. The yays were 60, nays 38, with many Democrats joining Republicans in favor of striking down this SEC rule. Tim, do you have any thoughts on this off the rip? We haven't even gotten into the story yet, but I hear you maybe want to chime in.
Ultimately, I think my biggest takeaway listening to her talk about how Gary Gensler is trying to make a statement on something he does not regulate. This isn't even the first thing that he's done that with. You guys saw the news. I don't know if you reported it while I was out, but the news that Gary Gensler and the SEC are looking into and investigating the purchase of Twitter from Elon Musk.
Right.
What does that have to do with Securities and Exchange Commission? That has nothing to do with anything other than X now is a more decentralized free speech platform that looks like it will be a major proponent and supporter of cryptocurrency. So it's like, this is a man who I don't know what is going on in his brain that makes him think he can get away with it. And that's what makes it so scary. Is we've talked about this before. He's not stupid, right? So anyone who thinks that Gary Gensler is just stupid, you're kidding yourself. He's a very, very intelligent man. So for someone that intelligent to cross the boundaries of what he's responsible for, to me screams there's a power trip play. Like, he is abusing his power, and for some reason he thinks he might actually be able to get away with it. I don't think he will. I'm not trying to spread fear of like, man, Gary Gensler is going to become the American dictator and he has the route to do it. But what I'm saying is that's the type of stuff that happens during hostile takeovers in other countries when a certain political figure starts to take over other things that are not his or her responsibility. Those are the beginning steps of massive problems amongst a lot of different spaces. And that's what I see Gary Gensler doing. So am I afraid that it's actually going to work? No, but it is concerning that this is the second thing now that he is trying to go after and yield the little bit of power he has in a topic that he should have no authority over whatsoever.
Yeah, and it is kind of it's starting to make me question my base case theory, which is that, it's just the other side of Wall Street that's kind of lining, Gary's pocket, or, saying they're going to help him get renominated or not lose his seat. Like, the incentives are not clear to me anymore why he's doing what he's doing, because now it just seems like he's kind of quartered himself. The only thing that makes sense at this point is that he has just the wrong perspective on this, but he's stubborn and he's sticking to his principles, right? And to the extent that he's been incentivized by outside parties, maybe that was going on and has stopped, or maybe that was going on, stopped, and then restarted, and then it stopped again. Like, I'm not sure, but it's strange, it's bizarre, but it's likely temporary. And one of the indications that it is temporary is this headline here. We already covered it, but this is a story from CoinDesk. U.S. Senate votes to kill SEC's crypto accounting policy, testing Biden's veto threat as well. Biden is definitely a character in this saga here. Again, dozen Democrats voting alongside a majority of Republicans in favor of the resolution, easily giving it well over the simple majority of votes needed to pass. However, the resolution did not receive enough votes to make it veto-proof. So this is a win for financial innovation and a clear rebuke of the way the Biden administration and Gary Gensler have treated crypto assets and markets. For the first time, both chambers of Congress have passed standalone crypto legislation, and it's unanimous, right? It's pretty remarkable to see. So, I mean, momentum moving in the right direction. These are the kind of headlines that compound, and then when we get a catalyst like yesterday, we got the CPI beat. You have explosive move to the upside, and this should, in theory, move crypto prices up and to the right. But again, this does have a chance to get vetoed on Biden's desk. But in an election year, do you go against potential voters? And the crypto space is a growing growing percentage of the population. I think that Biden may think twice on vetoing this bill. It'll be interesting to see. Now, just another bullish one here. I mean, it's these are we're kind of getting a little bit numb to these headlines at this point, but these are extremely bullish headlines. We're getting them almost daily now, Morgan Stanley becomes one of the top GBTC holders with 269.9 million invested. Big name buying Bitcoin, right? It's and buying it in droves, becoming one of the top holders of GBTC, right? So it's remarkable, right? Is this going to boost your account today, your Bitcoin portfolio today? No, right? But this is just more confidence, more momentum for the bulls, and we love to see it. Let's keep moving here. So we've got a clip here, Tim, you brought to my attention. We'll go ahead and run it, and then you get your reaction.
Before this is going to be a semi non-crypto topic.
Okay.
But we're going to do a lot more of these, by the way, and I'm going to explain to you, this does come back to crypto, but we're going to start telling you guys in the future. I forgot to say in the intro, we're going to start calling these the Tim rant sections. A lot of people do like the Tim rant sections. This one's a planned rant. Sometimes my best rants are the unplanned ones. But this one I feel very strongly about. And some people might say, why don't you guys just stick to crypto? Well, first of all, I'm going to stick to my whys. And crypto is a big, big part of why I do what I do. But I do believe it is our responsibility with what we do here as a channel, is we're trying to help people to cover issues like this. So this is not going to be the last time we cover a story like this, because I think we're going to see a lot more of them. Go ahead and roll the clip. Most of you guys have seen it, but we're going to get into what we think about it.
And on the other side of Tim's rant, we'll do the factoid of the day. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. By making it to this moment through all the adversity thrown your way from COVID.
He goes into a lot of other things. We don't need to address everything else because the people want to go after him. Some of you guys have probably seen this clip.
Tim,
have you seen this clip?
This is getting me fired up, Tim. This is getting me fired up, man.
T-shirt, had you seen this clip before I sent it to you?
I hadn't, man, but this is exactly what I've been thinking.
Oh my goodness. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to give you some background on this one. This is Harrison Butker. He is a NFL kicker. A very important position, just one that doesn't get a lot of glory. But right now, because of the words he just said in that clip, there's a movement. Even the link that I sent to you, T-shirt, go back to your screen, share the link of the Twitter page. I think it's change.org. This is pretty much an organization that tries to file petitions to get these grand movements happening. So change.org, they're petitioning, calling on the Chiefs to dismiss Harrison Butker for making several dehumanizing remarks during the commencement speech at Benedictine College on May 11th. They bring in here what he talks about with COVID and stuff. If you watch the whole clip, if you watch everything he says, he goes into a lot of topics. But the main topic that he got the backlash for was this one right here that we played for you, when it comes to how he addressed some females that were graduating. Here's the thing. Could Harrison Butker have potentially worded things differently? Maybe, but I don't even the words he chose to use, I don't have a problem with. And I'll tell you why. People need to stop getting so upset when someone A, just disagrees with them, and even B, says some truth that no one wants to acknowledge, and we all want to stick our head in the dirt and act like nothing's going on here. I'm going to come at this from a perspective maybe some of you, maybe don't think I'm coming at it from. He addresses women in this clip, and everyone seems to have a problem with this clip. But then there's another clip where he talks about men, and he talks about how men need to stand up and fight against emasculization that this world is going to bring us on, and pretty much be strong, do hard things, provide, protect. This is how humans are designed. Whether you believe in an almighty being or not, I do. But let's just pretend, even to our atheist viewers out there, biologically, why do we fight and argue with the biology of how humans work? Men are a stronger physical being. People with XY chromosomes are stronger individuals. Physically, they just are. They're also better at teaching discipline and instilling and providing for a home. People with XX chromosomes, known as women, are biologically weaker beings, but they're greater at nurturing and developing young minds of children. And here's what I get back to. Whether a female's listening or you have a daughter, you have a wife, anyone who wants to accomplish anything, go for it. Even if you listen to what he says, he's not telling women that getting a degree is a waste of time and that you can't do anything with your life other than being a mother. But what he points out is that that people are being lied to, especially women are being lied to, that they need to accomplish something in this world greater than being a mother. And that is a lie. Because ultimately, I told you guys, this is not a crypto topic, but why am I bringing it up? Why am I even in crypto in the first place? Why does the Investing Bros channel with Tim and T Shroom even exist? It's not, I can tell you right now, it is not for the sole sake of just getting wealthy and getting fat and then, dying, and who cares what happens after that. It's because I believe that when I was born with a purpose. I was born with many purposes, but one of the number one purpose every single human is born with is the purpose of taking care of and protecting their family. Whether you are a male, whether you are a female, your end goal, your why, should be the betterment of your offspring. That is a very, very, very important thing. And so in this case, when he says, women, you're being lied to that the most important thing in your life is going to be a career, he is dead on. Because when you're on your deathbed, whether you're a male or a female, you are not going to think about, man, did I get enough degrees? Man, did I get far enough in work? Man, did I make enough money? You're going to look back in your life and saying, man, did I raise my children the way they were meant to be raised? Did I instill in them the things that I should have instilled in them? Did I spend the quality time with the people that I love, my children, my spouse, that I wanted to spend? That's what you're going to look back and think about. And ultimately, I put this on Twitter earlier, and I preface it by saying controversial take. Most people don't think it's controversial. But this dehumanizing attack of saying what Butker is saying, and maybe even some things that I'm saying are dehumanizing to women, that is absolutely false. The most important and most rewarding job in this world, if you are a female, is being a mother. The most important and the most rewarding role, if you are a male, is being a father. Whatever you guys do to figure that out, figure it out. I've had friends and families where the mother was the one who had a full-time job, and the dad, he maybe worked part-time, but he stayed home to take care of, to make sure all of the children's needs were taken care of, to make sure they were heard and listened to and nurtured. It worked for their family. More often than not, it is the man going out and working full-time and the female staying at home. I'm not going to get into the semantics of saying women need to stay home, men need to go out. No, that's not necessarily true. Women do whatever is best for your family and best for your kids. But ultimately, whatever you decide, the end goal should be your children. The end goal should be, when you get back to the end of your life, how was I as a father? How was I as a mother? Not how was I as an employee? And I'm blessed right now. I can tell you guys right now, this is coming from a personal experience, because we live in a crazy world right now where it is very hard to be a one-income household. I don't know if you guys are living in the same world I am, but I remember growing up, I grew up, my mom stayed home, I was homeschooled. My dad, I don't know how he did it. We lived off of his one income. I don't know how, but we did it. His income was maybe $70,000. Now, of course, back in the early 2000s, you could get away. I had 4 siblings. There's 5 of us kids. We lived off of $70,000. In today's world, unless you're going to eat ramen noodles and live in a shack out by the highway, a family of 4 or 5 is not going to make it on $70,000. So the world has pushed us and pushed us and pushed us to saying, man, both man and woman need to be out of the household working, leave children to the government, leave children to the public school system, let someone else raise your kids, you just make money. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that this world has. So I'm very blessed that at the moment, I'm able to make enough money by myself that my wife gets to stay home with Brody herself. As we have future children, that is the hope. Not everyone can be that way. So I'm not telling people if a mother goes and has a job that she's a failure of a mother and a terrible woman. That's not what I'm saying. But I can tell you right now, any woman or man who literally make their entire life about their work and pass off the responsibility of their children to the state, they're going to look back on their life and look back as if their life was a failure, and B, those children are going to be messed up. And that's exactly what the system wants right now. That's exactly, we could probably spend an hour or more on this topic. That's why I'm kind of giving it as much attention as I'm giving it, because cryptocurrency, the whole purpose of it is to take power back, to get rid of this centralized system of currency, make it decentralized, give the power back to the people where people can control their lives. But I can tell you right now, this entire movement of this calling the words of Harrison Butker and others, and maybe I'm now on this list. I wouldn't care if I was, but these dangerous words of Tim Warren and Harrison Butker and others telling women that it's very important to be a mother. It's the whole system to continue to strip your power, your dignity, and your values away from you. And ultimately, they want to raise your children for you. And there's a very dangerous individual who had this same exact concept, the same exact thought process. His name was Adolf Hitler. And he understood something that not many people understood. And he said, if you can capture the attention and the heart of the youth, you can rule a nation. What did Hitler do with capturing the youth and their values and their hearts? He displayed one of the most evil things we've ever seen in this world. Well, right now, I firmly believe that this world is under attack to do the exact same thing. They do not want you instilling your heart and your values and your thoughts into your children. They want to do it for you. And the number one way they're going to do that is by telling mothers or females that you're only valuable if you contribute to the workforce. You're not, don't let people limit you into you're just a mother. That's the other phrase. They keep saying you're just a mother. You can be more than a mother, more than a mother. More than a mother, that's the greatest and most important job on this planet. So when we belittle it by saying, oh, you can be more than the greatest thing that is in this world as a role for a job, this is the slow but sure breaking down of society to steal the youth and to take them to the state side, and ultimately to move those of us who do care about our children, who do care about freedom, who do care about decentralization and about freedom, to slowly but surely give up those rights, give up those values, and eventually see a repeat of what we've seen in the past when youth are not with their parents, but rather with the state.
And I can't disagree more. I think women's place is in the mines, and they need to be 50-50 with every single job that men do, in the construction site, and down in the mines, and in the engineering. No, of course. Well put, Tim. I think it's really good, and I think he gets a lot of support in the chat. It's not easy to talk about these things. It's uncomfortable. One thing that came to my mind, Tim, was I visited the UN building, and because I was in the Model United Nations in my college. Say what you will about the UN, I get it. There's all kinds of conspiracies and stuff, but this was the art that they had in the Economic Council for the United Nations, where all the countries in the world come together and they make agreements and things. And what is at the center of this mural? By the way, this mural is probably the size of, think of the biggest building in your city. It's huge inside this building. At the center is a man and a woman who are married and they're nurturing children, right? And then outside of that is international festivals and the community, and then the society and the growth and the future. And so it's really interesting. And then the rest of this is kind of like more of an allegory of World War II, which is less relevant to this conversation. But the center of it is the center of the economy. The center of society and culture is the union, right, of marriage, and the union that is not. It's not just for the man and the woman; it's for the children. And I do believe that as well. And it's coming from a very important institution that is celebrated by Western culture, which is athletics, right? And there's been a lot of outspoken folks in athletics coming out over the last decade, and their opinions being resonating with a lot of people. And now there's one who's coming out, Harrison Butker, coming out and making his opinion known. So it doesn't mean you have to agree with him, but clearly here at the Investing Bros, there's a lot of folks that do.
It's just one of those things also, again, and I'm not saying everyone needs to be just like my family. And I understand, like I said, it is very hard these days to live in a household with a singular income provides for family. So I'm not saying that if a mother has to work, that she's a bad mother, because that's the world we live in. But I can tell you right now, that mother is not going to want to be at work. I'm saying this from personal experience. Taylor and I, up until about 3 months ago, were dual income. Like, I was making money, she was making money. Well, we were investing a good amount in crypto, but ultimately we got to a place. Well, I came home days that she was crying because she felt like all the time she was spending at work, she was neglecting Brody. And then she had weird concerns, like saying like, oh, he's not going to be social. He's going to not learn words. I'm like, he's going to be okay. But ultimately, I came home night after night to her being broken, feeling like she was a failure of a mother, a failure of an employee, because she couldn't do both. But ultimately, her heart wanted to be a child, or be with our children. And it's one of those things. I think that there's actually a massive amount of mothers out there that have the same exact thoughts, that they're working because they have to, and because society has almost shamed them to say, you can't just be a mother. And that is just absolutely wrong. And there's so many things. Again, I could be here for an hour, but let's just talk about this. And I call this hood culture. And gets in dangerous territory, but I'm going to be brief with this. I hate when people say like, oh, this is white culture or Hispanic culture or black culture. I hate that, because it's ultimately hood culture. I've seen black people in hood culture. I've seen white people in hood culture, Hispanic people in hood culture, Asian. Every population has hood culture. But especially in the United States, hood culture is a whole movement to break apart the family, and to break apart the nuclear family for sure, and to get rid of that whole system. And tell me right now what the hood culture lifestyle looks like. And ultimately, again, that whole thing got birthed. People want to talk about the money side of it. And I'm not saying that poverty doesn't play a certain role, but a large part of that is the nuclear family. The concept of having two loving parents taking care of you and raising you and bringing you. They've seen the falling apart of the hood culture, the hood culture bringing up decimation to people's lives. And now you look at this whole lie. Women, you have to get out of the house. You have to go to college. I'll tell you this right now, in case I didn't know, Taylor, my wife, has a bachelor degree from UF, one of the greatest public schools in the United States. She has a bachelor degree in health and nutrition. Never once has she had a single job that had anything to do with that degree. And right now, again, she's doing what she ultimately wants to do and being a full-time mother. I have an AA. I don't have a bachelor. I have an AA from a community college in Gainesville, Florida. First of all, we could go on that rabbit hole of saying how worthless college is as a whole. That gets a lot of people riled up here. There's certain places you have to get college. But ultimately, my wife got lucky. She came out of college with $10,000 in debt. Most people, the way we've scheduled and worked out higher education, are leaving school with upwards of $60,000 to $100,000 of debt for a degree that A, they'll never use, and then B, again, if they are a female, you know how hard it is to not work and take care of your children, knowing that you have $100,000 of student debt to pay off. So now you have that factor pressing in on females, saying you can't be at home and be a mother. You have to work. And so ultimately, they go to a full-time job worrying about their children the entire time, and they're paying probably more than half of their salary for somebody else to take care of that child the whole time. It is an entire system. It is an entire system built together by centralized authority to break down families, to lie to men, to lie to women, and ultimately steal control of our children. And this is not a topic, again, I've kind of explained why it relates to crypto, but like, it's a topic that I am very, very, very passionate about. And I don't care. I think a lot of people here are going to support me, but I don't care if I went viral and people don't like me. It's when people stop saying truth because there's a punishment for saying truth that the world will really be lost. We still have a lot of hope and a lot of a bright future that still could happen if good people stand up and speak truth. Despite the popularity of that truth, there still is hope. It's when people like Harrison Butker and others start bowing the knee to this authority that says, we will tell you what you're allowed to say and not allowed to say, that all of a sudden we have a problem here in the United States and the rest of the world. So we'll kind of close it there. It's 4:05 already. We were going to kind of end the stream earlier because we have VIP trading, but
really quick
I
before
felt like
we
that was
do,
important to address.
Crypto Archie chimed in with the interesting comment. He said, Tim, what Tim is saying is 99% of the world believe. It's just some crazy privileged people in the West who disagree. And that It's true. The less you travel, the less you know. And Crypto Archie, along with Caleb and Caleb Franzen and others that we know, very well traveled. Right? You go outside of the U.S. You go to even countries that are arguably more prosperous than U.S., like the UAE and Switzerland. And but you go to other countries, you see that the majority of people are not under the propaganda machine that is the United States media. And here on Investing Bros, we kind of pick it apart every single day, right? We're kind of talking about manipulation and what the the TradFi media versus crypto media, and then there's channels like ours and many others that just give it right down the middle. Outside of the U.S., it's not like this. I've only been out of the U.S. a couple of times, but when I have, it's very clear. Like the United States is engineered in a way that all the pipings for propaganda is just right straight onto you, and you think a certain way. But not everybody's succumbed to that peer pressure, I would say. So that's good as well. But it is all about the kids. It's all about the kids at the end of the day. When you were, just think back to when you were a kid and how hard it was, and think about how hard it would be today with all the added pressure of social media and everything like that. It's good that there are voices standing up and trying to speak out, trying to get moms back with their kids. Is that so bad? Yeah. So anyway, I like it. Thanks for being brave, Tim, bringing up the hard truths.
Let's get into the factoid of the day here, and we'll probably do like one or two questions, and then we'll wrap out today's stream. Again, if you're a VIP trader, we're going to go live. I posted a Zoom link in the Discord for our VIP trading group. Make sure you go join in there. And if you can't get there, we will record it for the rest of you guys. So look forward to that.
Absolutely. Well, so today's factoid of the day brought to you all by Efani. It's America's most secure mobile phone service. We've got a link in the description for it. You get your second month free for a much more secure phone service than what you have currently. Tim, what U.S. state is the least populated? Alaska, Idaho, Delaware, or Wyoming? What is your guess?
Yeah, good question. It's not going to be Delaware. Delaware is the smallest out of all those in terms of land mass, but there's pretty high population there, relative to the others. There's a part of me that just wants to say Alaska because it's the final frontier, and there's just so much of it that at this point is still considered uninhabitable. I think Idaho, there's a section that's pretty desolate, but I think there's some good areas with some heavy population. I think it's between A and D, Alaska and Wyoming. I see people saying Wyoming, but I'm gonna let's go Wyoming, and I think there's gonna be like a potential like caveat here that Alaska maybe has like a military base with a heavy amount of people that's gonna put it over the edge. Let's go with D, Wyoming.
You got it right, Tim. Right here, state and territory rankings, Wyoming. So there's a couple territories that are less populated: Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands. But here in Wyoming and then second place, which is Vermont. Alaska would be third place here. Again, not accounting for the territories in the District of Columbia. But Tim, how does it feel to be a winner?
I've won a lot recently, actually. I've been on a hot streak with my deductive reasoning on these, but I will eventually lose one again someday, but not today, Elf. I will say I was very close to hitting Alaska, and then I just triggered it. I was like, well, maybe there's like, because it's so close to Russia, like maybe there's like so much military personnel right there that's going to push it over the edge. And I think I looked at those numbers right. They only have like 200,000 more people. So that's not necessarily a lot of people. Breaking the difference there, but not even 200. It's like 100 and what is it, 150 almost, 150K more. So
absolutely. Well, I think you're going to have to run for president now, Tim. Crypto Archie saying, "Yo, Tim for president." Do you have any aspirations to run for office, Tim? The way you're talking, the way you're getting the people riled up and wealthy with investment science.
Here's what I'll say. Like, I've learned based off of if you had told me 5 years ago, Tim, you'd be running a crypto YouTube channel and like you'd be making a living based off of cryptocurrency education, I would have called you crazy. So I've kind of matured to a level where I've said, you know what? I am not going to rule out what maybe God has for me in the future. I have no plans and no personal desire at this moment to get into the political world. I think it's a very nasty place. I think it's hard for families. Like I think that does a number on your family to put yourself in that spot. But if for some reason we get to a place where I feel like that's where the Lord is calling me, then I can't rule it out. But I will say I have very little desire to get into the world of politics.
Gotcha. So not a no. All right.
Yeah.
Tim for president, 2028. I love it. I love it. We're having some fun. Well, Tim, I've had fun. Do we have any questions that you're seeing that we want to dive into? I saw one earlier. Said, "Hey, bros, doing better than you deserve. Now, how about you?" And I am. Yes.
There we go. Now, I saw earlier, we'll kind of end with this one because it is 4:11, it looks like. Let's do a render TA very fast, and then we'll kind of jump out of here. We were in a render short here. I'll kind of show you guys on my screen. The VIP trade group, we were in a render short. I exited mine. I don't know if anyone else did. I exited mine. We got down somewhere right in here. I think I got back out around 10, 12 or so. And it's simply because of the news that popped out. Today, we've actually lost all of that. So if I would still been in my short here on render, I'd be looking good here. The reason why I have it way down here, by the way, and I theoretically speaking could raise this a little bit. I'll even be conservative here, go to the top. If you're still looking or if you're still in a render short, I think there's a decent chance we do make it down here to the smart trail back down towards 935, especially as what we're looking at right now on the daily chart. And we need to look at some other things here to close out. But remember, I told you guys on Bitcoin, look out for the only way I would cancel out the bullishness that was kind of coming into play is if we had a bearish engulfing candle on the daily chart. Well, that's what you do have here on render. The wicks are above and below still technically, but the candle body itself is down below. So this is what I would almost consider a very weak bearish engulfing candle, but technically it fits the bill. Then you come over here, look at what we have going on. This is not the case for other altcoins out there. So render in a little bit of its own template. Bearish cross looks to be coming. We rejected here. This is where stochastics RSI kind of called this one perfectly. Started to make a move to the downside on stochastics. It's coming down. We're above the 50, but you can see we're approaching that 50 line on the RSI. We have some room. Potentially what happens, maybe we get down here to 934 and we bounce on the 50 and then render shows a sign of strength and continues to the upside. But the other oscillators definitely showing signs of weakness. We got the reversal signal. We've got the bearish momentum, and that's a big bearish momentum dot. It's not a small one. That's a pretty large one. Money flow is still positive, but this is more sideways. If we get this money flow in the next day or two to drop and move to the downside, and we lose like this area between like 9 to 8, higher $8 levels, now you're looking at potential. Is the daily chart calling for a revisit of $7 with that strong bearishness coming in? Not ready to call that just yet, and this is why you do wait, because again, there are some signs of support that are not that far away. We're right below $10 at the moment. We could drop a little bit lower. Let's look at the 4-hour chart just very briefly. See what it's saying. Look at what we have going on here. Very, very strong support. We have a take profit here at 960, but also we have these two breaker blocks coming in just below $9. So I don't think we're going to see that fall. I would not be surprised at all to see the daily chart not have a problem here, and we never get this confirmation of a sell. The money flow just goes sideways, and then we get some bullishness coming in here. Render's another one of those coins that I don't know if I'm ready to say I'm ready to hold it for the next 10 years of my life, but I am still very, very bullish on render over the next 12 to 18 months. So just having a little bit of pullback, but render ultimately a coin I'm very, 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 very hot on. This is one of the ones even I think Caleb Franzen talked about right now doing very, very well. At one point, it was down 54% from its high on this range. Right now, we're seeing only down 27%. This is a coin that's still showing a lot of strength in this market. And so even though what I'm looking at right now and telling you guys price looks like it wants to go down, still a lot of reason to be bullish on render over the long-term perspective going to the upside.
Very sick. Polkadot. We got time for some Polkadot TA.
Let's do it. Technically it's 4:15, so I'm gonna be a little late to the VIP trading group. Nice. But let's just do this real quick, and then we will jump in there. Dot back below $7 here, kind of in a little bit of a range. Now, I'd be remiss to say, and there's probably this way for a lot of altcoins. if you want to do this for the bullish side, you have to do this for the bearish side. I'm not saying this is going to play out, but I noticed it as soon as I looked at the chart. That technically is a bear flag potential. So not saying this is gonna happen, but this could theoretically speaking make a breakout down below $5. I kind of look in the zone. I think this is a golden pocket pullback from the low back here in October of 2023. That's kind of, to me, the worst case support level for DOT, kind of coming in here on 550. But this also could break to the upside, and so we could see some support coming in there. I don't like that, I will say. Do not like that DOT has a nice breaker block that has been being used as resistance very strongly. And guess what? We have that take profit on the daily chart coming in down here all the way. Boom. Now, this is it was made in shoppiness, so let's not read too much into this. But technically speaking, there's more reason to think this golden pocket could be hit around 546. Ultimately, let's watch to see what happens here. If we can get a breakout to the upside and break to the upside of this market, of this triangle, break to that breaker block, keep your eyes the next couple of weeks around $9, give or take. So if we break bullishly, I'm going to enter a long probably up here at about $9. If we, though, break to the downside and DOT, and we get down here maybe closer to $6, I think I might look for a short opportunity to come back down to about 545, 550, give or take, because I see a lot of things kind of piling up there. DOT, again, another coin I am very, very bullish on in this bull market, but at the moment, showing some signs of vulnerability in terms of price action to potentially move to the downside. Remember, though, always, altcoins, you want to take their specific TA with a grain of salt. Bitcoin can change a lot of things, but I could see DOT continue to trade sideways here. Maybe Bitcoin shoots up to 71 and then Bitcoin falls to like 60, in which case DOT trades sideways and has that fall to 550. Not out of the cards, not out of the equation. I think that's very doable. So hopefully that helped. That is going to wrap up our show for today. And you know what? Here, as we wrap it up, if you guys stuck with us for the whole time, I think we had a fantastic show today. We had some changes here. If you did not appreciate what I said and you think that that's not something you get behind, you know, I respect anyone's opinion. I would say, let's just pretend you disagree with me. It's really sad if your thought is, man, I disagree with what Tim said about a political issue. I can't ever listen to anything he ever says about anything ever again. That's another problem in this world, is people deciding to hate someone that they disagree with on one singular issue and show no respect. I think that's a problem. But if you can still respect us, or maybe you respect us for what we said, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Share this channel with your friends. Guys, we're a crypto channel for the most part. We're an investing channel. We want to see you guys be better, but we would be remiss and we would be mistaken to keep our mouths quiet on issues like this. Because if we want to see you prosper financially, we also want to see you prosper as humans. And I think these are the types of issues that need to be addressed. We love every single last one of you guys. Hopefully we will see you tomorrow. T-Shroom will be gone, but I'll be doing a one-man show. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be addressing on the show live tomorrow all those coins that JP Morgan and what was the other one? Man, there's a lot of FUD. No, remember the well, you know what? I'm going to save it tomorrow. We're going to be addressing some FUD of altcoins tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Love you guys. Adi.
Oh.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.